Hello and welcome back to One Way Designs 238. Today I am so excited about this project, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to begin with these pool noodles from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm cutting these down into 7-inch pieces, and I do need 7 pieces. Now if you want your pumpkin to be larger, you can always cut them into longer pieces, and depending on how large you want your pumpkin, you may need more pieces cut. Now, I wish I had have gotten this pool noodle in white, but they did not have white. All they had was red and purple and green. Once I have my pieces cut down, I'm going to use one of these pieces as my middle centerpiece, and then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the rest of these around this piece. This is going to form the pumpkin, and of course those outer pieces that we've glued around that centerpiece are going to create those ridges. I'm not sure of the technical name for it, but it's going to form those ridges that the pumpkin has. Now, if your pieces are not completely even cut, don't worry about it, because oftentimes when you look at a real pumpkin that was grown in nature, they're not really perfect. So now, with this last piece being glued to it, to make this a little bit more realistic, I want to go ahead and begin to round off those edges, because once I begin to wrap this in my material, I don't want it to look quite sharp, but I want it to look nice and rounded. So to do so, I just simply took my craft knife and I just simply cut that sharp edge of the pool noodle down. And I've done this to the top and to the bottom. So as you see, I have 2 pumpkins, one for the first DIY and one for the second. So for the first pumpkin, I wanted to create a nice rustic, more of a farmhouse fall feel. So I'm taking this material that I have from the Dollar Tree, and you see I just simply added a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of this pumpkin form, our newly made pumpkin form, put it right in the middle of my material, and I'm adding some of these Dollar Tree rocks on the inside of these holes just to add a little bit of weight. So now I want to go ahead and begin to take this material and wrap it up around my form. Now when doing this, be sure to take your time. Don't be in a rush. Take your time. Make sure that all of your material is nicely gathered. Take your time pulling out the gathers, making sure that the raw ends of your material are tucked into place. You could always take hot glue to actually take those raw ends and turn them in so that they are not seen. Once that step has been completed, now I'm going to tie it off with a cable tie at the top. And as you see, I'm using my needle nose pliers just to go ahead and pull this material through, just to make sure that that material is really nice and tight. And again, using my hot glue, and I'm using my needle nose pliers, or you can use a wooden dowel, whatever you have on hand, just to make sure that you just push those raw ends of the material in so that nothing is exposed. I must say I'm really pleased with how these pumpkins turned out. So once I'm finished pulling this material nice and tight, I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess fabric from the top and cut off that cable tie. So now to actually bring some more definition to the ridges of this pumpkin, I want to take some of this jute twine or this thinner nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, glue it from the top all the way around to the next middle of the ridge on the other side, as you see me doing, and I'm just going to do this completely all the way around this pumpkin. Now, I feel like this adds a lot of dimension to it, but it also adds texture, and it's actually really going to help really form and pull that definition of those ridges out in the pumpkin form. Now, I know the top of this pumpkin looks kind of messy, but I'm not worried about it because now it's time for us to decorate. So I have this larger wooden dowel, a piece of wooden dowel, excuse me, that I picked up from Hobby Lobby or either Walmart. I'm just taking a piece of this. I have given it a nice little coat of my antique wax, and then I just glued this down into the middle of this pumpkin. And now I'm just going to simply decorate it. And I'm going to let you just watch me decorate this to see just what I did. So now that I have all of my florals, my greenery, my pine cones, all of my little accent pieces glued to the top of this, I am very pleased with how this is coming out. But of course, I need a bow on the top of this just to add a little bit more of that traditional fall red, orange, yellow, gold colors to this. I'm just taking some of this ribbon that I purchased from Hobby Lobby about 3 years ago. I'm just simply making a simple double loop bow. And after I made this, I will fluff it out and I'll just add this to my piece and this will be complete. I love how this turned out. It's very rustic, very cozy, very fall inspired and themed. I don't think you can beat the price of making your own pumpkin form for $1.25 from one pool noodle. I don't think you can beat that at all. So this is our first one, our traditional fall. So now let's move on to pumpkin number 2. I'm going to start off with some of these nice faux leather leaves that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. Absolutely love these leaves. And I'm also going to use some of these traditional maple leaves as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint these leaves. Some all gold, some with a mixture, which you'll see in just a minute. But the first part of this process is I wanted to go ahead and give these a nice coat of white paint. And that is simply because with these leaves being the colors that they are, darker and brighter colors, if I went straight in with this metallic gold paint, then that color would still pop through. So I simply took these leaves and I just gave them a nice base coat of white. Now you see I have painted most of these in a metallic gold, but my my other oak leaves, I simply use silver and gold together. And you guys, I love how these turned out. And I just simply gave all of these leaves a nice simple sprinkle of fine gold glitter. So I have this satin pillowcase that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. If you're going to recreate this, looking back in hindsight, I would recommend that you go ahead and purchase 2 of these so that you have nice, excellent coverage. And when I say coverage, that's in terms of your color of the pool noodle not coming through. So with this pillowcase, I've simply cut down one long side and along the bottom to give me a nice large piece of material. And again, with this, when I began to wrap it, I could see that pink coming through. So I picked up another gold pillowcase from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just simply going to go ahead and remove the piping from around this so that I have a nice piece of material. And this is going to act as my last minute lining for this project. Once I have this material cut out, now I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of covering my pumpkin form made out of those pool noodles in this material. And I'm using the exact same steps as I did with the first pumpkin, making sure that all points are covered, making sure that my gathers are nice and even, that everything is pulled nice and tightly. If you wanted to recreate this, I will tell you that you may want to go ahead and purchase some material from somewhere else. If you want to use this satin, purchase it from somewhere else besides the Dollar Tree, because I don't like how I was able to see the actual seam that was sewn together. So once I have everything covered, I just went ahead and decorated this because I just didn't want this video to be very long. But my stem I made out of a dowel, covered it in gold, and just added my glam decoration. So now I want you to see how these 2 projects turned out. You guys, the glam one, I think it looks more of like a Christmas gift, more so than a pumpkin. You let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. But I love how the contrast of the glam versus like the traditional, I think both of them turned out absolutely beautiful in my opinion. Please let me know down in the comment section which one is your favorite. If you recreate these, please let me know. Again, I feel like this pumpkin formed from a $1.25 pool noodle from the Dollar Tree, you just cannot beat. Those leaves that were painted, I absolutely love how those turned out. Please stay tuned because the rest of those leaves that we painted, I'm definitely going to use those, and you will see those in future DIYs. Well, as always, my prayer for you is that you continue to be safe and healthy. Until next time, be richly blessed. In Jesus' name, bye-bye.